Hi everyone, welcome back to Miller Music Studios. Today we're going to learn our G cadences, both regular and seventh, dominant seventh. Let's get started. G major goes to D major, which is 1 on F sharp, 2 on A, and 5 on D. Back to G major. G major, D major, G major. That's with G major in the root position. Let's move over to G major in the first inversion. 1 on B, 2 on D, and 5 on G. G major to D major. We're going to put 1 on A, keep your 2 on D, and 4 on the F sharp. That's D major. Back to G major. G major, D major, G major. Now G major in the next inversion. 1 on D, 3 on G, 5 on B. G major goes to D major in root position. However, we have 1 on D, 2 on F sharp, and 4 on A. And back to G major, D, G, B. G major, D major, G major. Let's do that again. Ready, go. First inversion. Second inversion. Now the left hand. We have G, B, D, 5, 3, 1. G major goes to D major. Move our 5 and 3. 5 on F sharp, 3 on A, and 1 on D. And back to G major, 5, 3, 1. Now we go to the first inversion. Now this fingering is a little different. 4 plays the B, 2 plays the D, and 1 plays the G. And that's G major now in the first inversion. G major. Now let's go to D major. 5 on A, keep your 2 on D, that's the common tone in both of them, and 1 on F sharp. Back to G major. G major, D major, G major. 4, 2, 1, 5, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. Now we play 5 on D, 2 on G, 1 on B. That's G major. D, F sharp, A in root position with a 5, 3, 1. Back to G major. G major, D major, G major. Now with the bird's eye view, we have hands together. G major, D major, G major. First inversion. G major, D major, G major. Second inversion. G major, D major, G major. Now let's talk about our 5-7 chords in the cadences. So we have G major, 1, 3, 5, and we're going to move in so that our 1 can play a black key, 1 on F sharp, 4 on C, 5 on D. Back to G major. G major, D7, G major. First inversion of G major, 1 on B, 2 on D, 5 on G. G major. Now we keep our 2 on the D, 1 on C, 2 on D, 4 on F sharp. Back to G major. G major, D7, G major. Next inversion. 1 on D, 3 on G, 5 on B. G major to D7, 1 on D, 2 on F sharp, 5 on C. Back to G major. G major, D7, G major. Let's do that again. Now the left hand. G, B, D to 5 on F sharp, 2 on middle C, and 1 on D. Back to G major. G major, D7, G major. Now, first inversion, 5 on B, 3 on D, 1 on G. G major, move it in so that your thumb can play a black key, F sharp. 4 on C, 3 on D, 1 on F sharp, and that's D7. Back to G major. Now 5 on D, 2 on G, 1 on B, G major to D7 in the root position, 5 on D, 3 on F sharp, 1 on C. And so we have, and from a bird's eye view, ready, go. So if we play the whole thing, the whole cadence, let's start with G major going to just the dominant chord, and then we'll do G major going to the dominant 7th chord, like this. Excellent. Keep practicing that, hands separately and hands together, until you make it your own and you thoroughly understand it and your fingers know exactly where to go. And next lesson, we're going to go on with the D arpeggios. Happy practicing. Here's your kiss.